and I'm going to give an overview of our portfolio towards energy management. So why is it, say, nowadays, say, energy management important? Of course, there is, there is increased consumption in terms of energy overall, and so we need to reduce costs. We need to increase efficiency in terms of the use of energy, and also an additional challenge is, climate change. So there's a lot of talks about, yes, all the effects that the humans have on Earth, and generating energy also brings a burden on that. So that's why we include, so also this is one of the challenges included in energy management. So the idea is to always increase energy efficiency. So in terms of, let's say, reducing the cost of energy overall in terms of production, and again, mainly on the consumption, on the consumer side. So we see that, say, year after year, say, increases of, say, energy costs. In some places, definitely you see this trend in a higher pace. In others, not that much, but still, costs are always, say, increasing. So we need to take measures in order to reduce costs in different ways, by reducing the consumption, by increasing efficiency. There are already, say, talks and developments in terms of laws requiring that, say, to reduce the impact that we have in the environment. So also by reducing, or by reducing consumption or increasing efficiency. And additionally, companies or enterprises that are, they can, they have a better image towards the public by having, being, more conscious in terms of energy consumption, or by showing that the companies are aware or are taking measures to reduce consumption and increase efficiency in terms of energy. So I'm just focusing a little bit in terms of the costs. So yeah, the energy costs are based here. Yeah, it's an example based on the electricity. But again, so there's say a basic consumption that's, say, charged by the kilowatt hour. There's also, especially say, not for residential consumers, but especially for industrial consumers, let's say, this capacity charges. So if the company reaches, or goes beyond a particular limit in terms of the power consumed, there are additional charges, and also taxes. Maybe not complete, not say worldwide, but especially some places already, say, impose taxes according to the levels of consumption and efficiency. So altogether, so all these factors are taken into account in terms of, increasing the efficiency of the energy consumption, and also trying to reduce the consumption as a result. So to be able to go towards a more efficient way of consuming energy, so there are, different steps that needs to be taken. So for example, have better transparency on the consumption itself. So what are the, let's say, the higher, let's say, if you have, let's say, maybe a production plant, where is the highest consumption within the plant? It's a particular equipment, a particular machine, for example. So you need to have the transparency so measures can be taken later on. So, and then based on the additional transparency, you can evaluate, say, where the consumption is happening. And based on that, let's say, additional measures can be taken to, say, reduce the consumption or to maybe shift the consumption of particular equipments into different times of the day where maybe the energy costs are lower or the overall power consumption can be reduced by managing. So when some loads are on or off. So anyway, so these are a few steps to be taken in order to increase or have a better energy use. So to help you with those steps or with those measures, we have a, let's say, comprehensive portfolio that can help you achieve, say, targets in terms of energy consumption, in terms of, say, increased efficiency. So here we can see as an overview of the portfolio, starting from the energy measurement. So in terms of devices and equipment that can be used to for the data acquisition, so for the energy, for the measurements in terms of power and energy. And then we have additional tools that help you in terms of the, say, increase first transparency, and later on also use, let's say, additional tools that can be used to, say, analyze the information, so the measurements taken, and based on that analysis, so generating indicators, KPIs, so based on that information, guide you to which direction to go in terms of the, the measures to be taken to increase efficiency. So within the portfolio, you'll see, for example, the Simatic Energy Suite. That's one TA portal option that's used to first to make the engineering simpler. So in terms of the data acquisition, also to make the data from the energy measurements, I say, available in a more consistent way. So and even having that data shown, say, in different systems. It can be, say, an HMI panel. It can be directly in a SCADA. Saving, so logging that information, so all those measurements, and also making those measurements available to more capable tools, namely here the Simatic Energy Manager, that can be used to analyze that data, all that information in terms of energy measurements, and the results be used to, for the measures to in terms of energy, say, towards a more efficient energy use. So for the acquisition, we have, say, most of the devices that we have. We can use, say, Siemens devices, and those devices can be, say, power meters. Say, we can acquire energy information directly from, for example, VFDs. Or directly from the say on the controller level. So we have I/O modules that are, say, energy meters that can acquire, say, energy measurements directly through the controller. So there are different ways, and even non-Siemens devices definitely can be say, integrated and provide information in terms of measurements. So this is just an overview of the available products, but you see with a little bit with more details each of them and in which case or which uses each one of them have. So starting with the Simatic Energy Suite. So the Energy Suite is a TA portal, as I said already. It's a TA portal option to be used for, I mean, much say a simpler engineering in terms of the energy measurement. Say into let's say the controllers. So this the Energy Suite. So whenever we say, if you have, for example, an example with say without using say an option like the Energy Suite. So if you need to read say values from the devices, so most of the configuration engineering needs to be done I would say manually. So in terms of the communication with the devices, is there communication or is it hardwired, for example, or let's say each the information or the data coming from each device most probably comes in different formats. So that needs to be maybe say rearranged in, let's say, in order to have at least let's say more consistent way of say having that information available, logging that information. So there's a lot of say manual work to be done while using the, let's say, with the Energy Suite. A lot of that work is done in an automated way. So to have an idea, so the Energy Suite, all you need to do, so if you have already the devices where you're that you are using for the energy measurement acquisition. So those devices are, say, all you need to do when you configure, say, the data, say, the energy measurements. So you just more or less select the device that you want to use as a measurement device. And then, let's say, based on the information coming from the device, define if you're reading energy, if you're reading power, and then based on that, say, generate blocks automatically, and the blocks, they make the energy measurements available in a say standard and consistent way interface, and that interface can be used for visualization, can be used for say data logging. So we have the values logged say for a long time, and then also it can be used say directly in other tools so as an interface to provide the data to other tools. So but again, so it's not only about say Siemens devices. Of course, here it shows some of our components or devices that are used for the energy measurement acquisition. But also, say any third-party device can be used as an acquisition, say for the energy measurement. Not only that, so if you have a pulse measurements based on pulse inputs, that can be used. If you have already values that come from a different device and are available in the user program, that can be used as an input of energy measurement. So it's a really flexible tool that there's a really low overhead in terms of the engineering and configuration. The blocks required, let's say, for the data processing are generated automatically, and not only that, so even the visualization is generated in an automated way. So it means that you configure the devices, you generate the blocks automatically, that information is available. If you have the system, so those blocks are available, of course, in your controller. If you have your controller connected to a SCADA system, namely WinC Professional, you can also automatically configure say, a data log that will log the energy values. If you don't have a SCADA system, for example, you're using just a controller with an HMI panel, you can have the visualization of the HMI panel, but still you can have data logging in the controller, for example. So it's a really flexible way of, say, doing the configuration in a really optimized way and having the data available so for visualization, for data logging, and for other tools if required. So starting with the latest version of the Energy Suite, of course, up to now, that was the main use of the Energy Suite. So easy acquisition and making the data available in a consistent way. Introducing in the version 16, an additional feature was added. That's the load management. So directly in the Energy Suite, you can define ways to manage the loads, especially say to avoid those the charges in terms of say the power consumption. So it means that based on the measurements coming from your system, from your equipment, you can identify if the consumption is going to say achieve or even go beyond a particular limit. So based on that information, the controller, the load management system can take actions in terms of maybe shutting down some loads or maybe switching on maybe a generator, so additional sources of power, so to try to avoid these additional charges for the extra power consumption. So this was introduced in the version 16 of Energy Suite. So it's a really interesting additional feature that can be used as an additional function in the overall, say, energy management task. So and also an additional a new say function on version 16 that was introduced in version 16. So when you generate the blocks, you can not only generate the blocks for the controller, you can also generate automatically some visualization for HMI panels or SCADA using CVARC. That's another option for TA Portal that's used based on some few configurations that it's used to generate in an automated way screens, faceplates for HMIs and SCADA systems. So with version 16, we added this functionality that you can use CVARC to just by defining the measurements that we have. So you generate the blocks, and also additionally you generate say screens and faceplates based on those measurements in an automated way, and by using the CVARC together with Energy Suite, you don't really need to have a license for CVARC. So CVARC is an option that requires usually a license, but using together with the Energy Suite, that license is not really required. So when you're generating the visualization for Energy Suite objects, so that also came with the say version 16. So it's an additional value that comes with the Energy Suite. And here the concept of the Energy Suite, actually in terms of licensing, so we count the license count based on what we call energy objects. So you just depend. So and one energy object, for example, can be one device or can be one digital input when you have the energy measured by say some pulses. So any device that's or any value that's used as a say energy measurement is counted as say an energy object. So the license is based on that. So you just need to acquire, let's say, license, let's say, packages with 5 energy objects, 10 energy objects. So, and then, so based on the total number of objects, you need, let's say, a particular number of licenses. So for the data acquisition, so each device or each energy measurement is considered as an object. When you're using so when you're using, for example, for the load management, then for each actuator configured, you need, say, 3 energy objects in terms of licensing. So we need to consider also, especially when you're using the load management, the number, maybe the additional number of energy objects in terms of the licensing. So to be able to configure, the devices. So that's the concept. So it's pretty, simple, straightforward, so and easy to use. So here, just one example of, let's say, the load management. So in terms of some, it's some generated, let's say, face plates. So again, so it's a really interesting option, interesting tool in terms of the configuration and having, so as a first step, having let's say transparency in terms of what's happening currently with your equipment, with your plant, in terms of the consumption. So here, and also together with that, let's say data, let's say logging the energy measurements taking from the plant, from the equipment. So additionally to the energy suite that's used mostly for the engineering, for, let's say, the data acquisition, for logging and some visualization, we have the option S7 energy efficiency monitor. Actually, the energy efficiency monitor is a set of instructions that we have for our S7 controllers that we can use to measure, let's say, how efficient, let's say, is your equipment using energy. So similar to what we have, for example, as a comparison to your, say, appliances at home. So when you buy some whatever appliance, so a fridge, it comes with a kind of a sticker and provides you a figure. So what's the efficiency level of that particular equipment or device? So similar to that, we can apply for equipment or, say, industrial equipment or machines, where you can, based on some measurements from the machine or from the equipment, you can provide information about how efficient is that equipment in terms of energy consumption. So, that measurement is based on a particular standard from the VDMA in Germany. So, and the block, actually, it comes as directly as an instruction in the instruction set of our controllers. If you if you open or if you configure a 1200, 1500 controller, you see that in the instruction set, the blocks are already there. But again, say for the blocks to be used and for them to function, so you need to have a proper license. So it's sort of a runtime license. So otherwise the blocks won't run. But still, so they're already there. So say to be used, you just need to add the blocks to your program, have the proper license, and have, say, the blocks running, and they'll provide, say, information in terms of the energy consumption efficiency of the equipment. So, and those blocks, say, the interface of the blocks, they can be connected directly to to the Energy Manager Pro. That's the more the tool that we use, especially for the analysis of the information. So otherwise, they can be used. So they can be used locally, just providing the information in an HMI panel or in SCADA, or they can also be integrated or interfaced directly into the Energy Manager. And then some benefits on both sides in terms of the, from an equipment or machine builder point of view. So based on a predefined standard, is a simple integration within our controllers in TA portal. Provides, so the blocks, they can also generate some standardized reports for in terms of energy efficiency, and it's also simple to use and to configure. And from the user, from the end user point of view, again, so it benefits, again, so it's based on a standard, again, based on TA portal. And if the end user wants to provide or integrate further on that information to, other systems, it can be used because it's done in a kind of a standardized or consistent way. So that's quite interesting option available for our controllers. And then coming to the higher level in terms of the energy management. So we talked about the acquisition in terms of the hardware, and then another step, acquisition and having the data available in a consistent way, in a really simple, with a simple configuration and engineering with the energy suite. Also providing transparency in terms of the consumption of, energy consumption, power consumption, and even other variables available. Additional transparency with the energy efficiency monitor within the controllers. Then you get to the on the top, where all this information that's available can be used to be analyzed and generate indicators or KPIs that or reports also to help you in terms of taking measures in terms of reducing consumption and increasing efficiency. So with the energy manager, we can do all that. So we can receive all that information, from the energy suite or from the energy efficiency block, but not only from them. So any source of data or information can be integrated in the Simatic Energy Manager. And then based on that information, you run, generate reports. You have your dashboards showing what's happening in terms of the consumption. So that's the tool, so the higher level tool that's used for those tasks. So in terms of the energy manager, we have two sizes. So we have the energy manager basic, that's more or less, I would say, for it's a more simplified version, where it's mostly for maybe a standalone system that still can be interfaced to the energy suite, to the even to WinCC, or even to other sources of data. If you have a more complex application, or where you are not you are taking information not only from maybe from a single location or from multiple locations, so you might need to have even some maybe let's say distributed, more distributed system in terms of the energy management. So we have the option of the Energy Manager Pro, and scalability is pretty simple. So you can start small with the Energy Manager Basic. If later on you identify that the size of the application is increasing, or you are integrating maybe different sites on the energy management system. So you can scale up from the Energy Manager Basic to the Energy Manager Pro. So the Energy Manager Basic, so there's a set of, say, interfaces that can be used to acquire data. So you can get directly from the Energy Suite, or we can connect to WinCC, for example, or it can talk directly to other systems or devices, or Modbus TCP, OPC UA, even, say, over file systems, so we can say read files directly, say with the energy data, and then even the Energy Manager Pro, Energy Manager Basic, sorry, the engineering is done directly on a web interface. So you install the system and you access the engineering and also the application over a web interface, and then your KPIs are generated. You define and configure your dashboards, generate the reporting, and so on. So it's, say, it's a more simplified, version, but again, very powerful, that can be used in maybe, say, maybe a smaller scale. Then, if you need to have, say, a more comprehensive system, even distributed, for example, different components may be installed in different servers, and you have maybe additional clients or web clients distributed over, say, a wider area, then you can go maybe with the Energy Manager Pro that has, say, all the features from the basic, plus additional interfaces in terms of communication, can talk directly to our controllers. The Energy Manager Pro can be interfaced directly to the energy efficiency monitor blocks. So there are, say, additional interfaces that the Energy Manager Pro has that can be used to interface to other systems in terms of the, say, data acquisition. Here, say, for the Energy Manager Pro, there are some dedicated clients that can be used for the engineering and also to access the Energy Manager Pro. And here, compared to the basic, there are more options. So there are more extensive, say, options for dashboards and also for more complex reports compared to the Energy Manager Basic. But again, scalability is really simple. You can start with the Energy Manager Basic. If there is a need later on to expand the system, you can have, say, upgrade from the Energy Manager Basic to Energy Manager Pro, and then have the additional features from the Energy Manager Pro, for example. So one additional and interesting option, especially, for example, if you need to say enter manual data to the say to your energy management system. So there's an energy manager app where that can be used to enter those values. So say in order to have, let's say, manual values. So manual values can also be entered directly into the energy manager. But here the app, it makes, I think it simplifies the tasks by using a mobile device that you use as an interface to enter those values into the energy manager basic or pro systems. And also there is a MindSphere app, energy manager MindSphere app, that has functionality, let's say, comparable to the energy manager, let's say, system. But then the additional, let's say, the additional benefits here is that, you have it hosted in our MindSphere, and you have, let's say, you can interface to data that's already available in MindSphere, so directly into the Energy Manager MindSphere app. So it's an additional option available for the overall system of energy management. And then, just to finalize, this is an overview of different scenarios. So whenever you have, different users or different tasks, for example, if you just want to see, say, measure the efficiency of some machine or equipment, so we can just go maybe with the energy efficiency monitor blocks and maybe an HMI panel. Or if you want to see, let's say, a more comprehensive way, so not only a single machine, but maybe your whole plant, so you can still go with a similar solution with the addition of the energy manager that can acquire data from different systems, or if you just want to visualize consumption, energy, power, so we can go maybe with energy suite and maybe say in a small scale HMI panels, or in a slightly, say, in a larger scale with a SCADA system, so WinCC, and you can easily configure and integrate the energy measurements, say using the energy suite into the SCADA or a HMI system.